a liar, a cheat. The royal family would not be coming to Harry's rescue. They would not be funding a divorce to any extent. And they, at this point, wouldn't really care what Meghan tried to say or...
How does she see the children's, and she's put the children's in inverted commas, time being split between them, and how does she think their lives...
Meghan Markle doesn't just stir the pot. She flips the whole thing over and sets the table on fire. Every time the royal family tries to move on from the endless drama, she somehow drags them right back in. But this time, it's not about another interview, another staged Netflix scene, or her constant shade thrown at the monarchy. No, this is far deeper, far darker, and far more explosive.
I cannot, in all honesty, predict. I don't know whether they will ever get divorced. I know that the marriage is very...
Because now, the whispers aren't about Meghan as a mom of two in Montecito. They're about something unthinkable. That Meghan isn't just a mother, she might already be a grandmother. Yes, you heard it right. The Duchess who built her whole brand around the struggles and glory of late motherhood may secretly have a 30-year-old daughter lurking in the shadows. If that's true, then every glossy photo shoot, every teary podcast moment, every Netflix scene of relatable mom life, all of it becomes one colossal lie. And Harry? Poor Harry, blindsided and humiliated once again, left utterly speechless.
Personal sight of a union like that, my parents, and they remained together forever.
Let's zoom in on the biggest red flag in Meghan Markle's life story, the infamous missing year. On paper, she graduates from Immaculate Heart High School in Los Angeles in 1994. Then, like so many young women, she claims she took a gap year before enrolling at Northwestern University in 1995. She painted it as a year of travel, growth, self-discovery. Sounds innocent enough, right? Just a girl finding herself before hitting the books. But here's the chilling problem. There's no proof. None, zero.
A rich man. And really, it also suited my father to be married to a great socialite.
Zilch, no travel records, no study abroad programs, no student visas, not a single photo of Meghan backpacking across Europe or smiling with classmates abroad. And this was the 90s, not some ancient century where tracking down proof is impossible. If she had actually traveled or studied, there would be someone, a friend, a postcard, a memory, to tie her to that time. Instead, a 12-month black hole swallows her life story whole.
Loved her. I don't think she loved him for a second, but it suited her to stay, and she was the Meghan in the relationship in terms of being big.
And here's where the gossip hits full scandal. That missing year lines up perfectly with rumors of a secret Las Vegas marriage and a pregnancy. Coincidence or a carefully planned cover-up? Even respected royal expert Ingrid Seward once called Meghan's gap year a ghost year. Nothing to show, nowhere to place her, no one to vouch for her.
She's extremely dominant, and they know how to play the vulnerability card.
So ask yourself this, why would someone erase a whole year of their life? Was Meghan really on some dreamy trip of self-discovery? Or was she hiding something so big she hoped it would never, ever see the light of day?
Dominatrix in the next breath. So I think it depends on whether Meghan ever gets better.
Here's where it gets explosive. Whispers say Meghan didn't spend that missing year traveling. She allegedly spent it walking down the aisle, in Las Vegas of all places. The city of neon lights, whirlwind weddings, and regrets that haunt you forever.
Get better, there's every likelihood the marriage will remain intact, no matter how unhappy it is.
Picture it. The summer of 1994. Meghan, just 18, sneaks into a little Vegas chapel off the Strip. No fairy tale gown, no royal trumpets, just a rushed ceremony, her nervous teenage smile masking the storm inside. And by her side, the mystery man whose name has floated in whispers for decades but never in any official biography. Witnesses, a couple of close acquaintances, and allegedly her own half-siblings, Thomas Markle Jr. and Samantha.
Irrevocable, which it's not likely that he will leave, because I don't...
The ceremony was short. No flowers, no choirs, no castle dreams. Just two kids making a reckless choice. Within months, the marriage was annulled. Gossip-worthy enough on if own. But here's the jaw-dropper. Those annulment papers? Sealed. Yes, sealed. Locked away in Clark County, Nevada.
And if they came to his rescue, they would be involving themselves in unpredictable melee.
And that sparks the million-dollar question, why? Teen marriages happen all the time. They're silly mistakes, left open for anyone to see. But Meghan's? Buried so deep, no one can confirm it ever happened. Why seal a teenage blunder? Unless that marriage wasn't just a mistake, but the start of a much darker secret?
If there's a divorce, it's going to have to go off what they have in their marital pot. And as for if there were a divorce, I think at that point,
And if the Vegas wedding whispers weren't shocking enough, brace yourself, because the rumors don't stop at annulment papers. No, they spiral into full-blown tabloid dynamite. That rushed marriage? It allegedly produced something far more permanent. A pregnancy. Think about that for a second.
Or that the children had more of a British profile and that they were more visible in
Meghan's so-called gap year vanishes right after high school. No photos, no study abroad, no proof of anything. Instead, that blank space fits perfectly with the timeline of a pregnancy and a secret birth. The whispers claim Meghan quietly gave birth in late 1994 or early 1995. Suddenly, it makes sense why she disappeared, why she vanished from every radar, only to suddenly resurface at Northwestern University later, polished and ready to reinvent herself. And if this child exists,
I think is something that would happen. I think her absolute control over them.
That child wouldn't be a baby or a teen today. They'd be 30 years old, a grown adult, and the latest, juiciest whispers? That very child may now even have a child of their own, which would mean Meghan Markle, who paints herself as a glowing late-in-life mother of Archie and Lilibet, could already be a grandmother at just 43. Let that sink in. Now let's circle back to that sealed annulment, because this part is beyond bizarre. Teenage marriages, they're not rare. Two impulsive kids get married, then annul it, and the record just sits there in the county files gathering dust. Nothing unusual. But Meghan's? Oh no. Meghan's alleged annulment was sealed immediately in Clark County, buried away as if it never existed. And that's not normal. So the real burning question, why? Why go to such extreme lengths to hide something that could have easily been dismissed as a silly youthful mistake? Other celebrities laugh about things like this years later, turning it into a quirky oops chapter in their memoirs. But Meghan, she buried it so deep that officials refuse to confirm or deny if those records even exist. That silence? Deafening. And for a woman who constantly preaches about being authentic and real, the sound of that sealed vault echoes even louder. What are you hiding, Meghan? He cut ties with his family, publicly attacked his own father and brother, trashed the institution that raised him, and painted himself as the loyal protector of Meghan and their children. And yet the cruelest twist of all, Meghan may have been hiding her most explosive secret, not just from the world, but from Harry himself. Imagine the devastation if he ever learned that truth. Already mocked by the British press as whipped, already portrayed as a man led by Meghan's every ambition, Harry would now look like the ultimate blind fool, a prince who sacrificed a kingdom only to discover he never even had the full story. This wouldn't just expose Meghan's lies. It would expose Harry's blindness. His loyalty wouldn't look noble anymore. It would look pathetic. Royal commentators have whispered that this revelation would crush Harry more than any feud with William or falling out with King Charles. Those family battles are about pride, tradition, ego. But this would strike at the heart of his marriage, his manhood, his entire identity. If Meghan has truly hidden a child and grandchild from him, then his entire relationship has been built on secrets and half-truths, and the world would not spare him. Brutal as it is, the press would laugh at him, not her. Harry, the spare who gave it all up for love, revealed as the man who never had the whole truth to begin with. His humiliation would be global, because Meghan hasn't just built a marriage, she's built a brand, an empire, carefully curated for power, sympathy, and influence. From that fairy tale wedding broadcast to millions, to the Netflix docuseries painting her as the silenced Duchess, to her podcast where she reframed herself as a feminist voice, everything has been one big PR project. But brands live and die on credibility. And if Meghan really has a hidden daughter, and even a grandchild, then her credibility doesn't just crack, it shatters into 1,000 pieces. Think about it. Her entire narrative has been about breaking free, finding her voice, and exposing the monarchy's cruelty. But how does that play if the world discovers she's been hiding the most explosive secret of all? Not the monarchy's coldness, her own. Sponsors would flee. Media allies would turn into vultures. She'd go from silenced Duchess to manipulator, a woman who couldn't even be honest about her own flesh and blood. Her empire wouldn't just stumble, it would collapse overnight. And let's not pretend Meghan's brand hasn't already been wobbling. Spotify cut ties. The Netflix deal hasn't delivered the fireworks it promised. public opinion has soured. This hidden child bombshell? It would be the nail in the coffin. Worse still, it's not just about Meghan's reputation, it's about a bloodline. If she truly had a child at 18, then somewhere out there exists an erased branch of her family tree. An entire life erased to protect her image. Imagine that. Meghan presents Archie and Lilibet as her only heirs, while deliberately silencing another child who shares her DNA. To many, that wouldn't just be dishonest, it would be heartless. So where does this leave us? With whispers of a teenage Vegas wedding, a sealed annulment, a missing year, and now the bombshell possibility that Meghan Markle might already be a grandmother at 43. The story doesn't just sound like gossip. It plays like a soap opera, the kind where every episode ends with jaws on the floor. If this hidden child really exists, then Meghan hasn't just lied to the public. She's rewritten her entire identity. Think about how she positioned herself, the underdog who found love late, who struggled to have children in her late 30s, who branded herself as the modern face of motherhood. Every headline, every PR push, every Netflix clip leaned into that image. But a hidden 30-year-old daughter blows that story to pieces. Because then, Meghan didn't just become a mom in her late 30s. She was already a mother decades earlier, and she chose to erase it, chose to erase her own child. And the cruelest twist, that child might now have a baby of their own, meaning Meghan's carefully crafted mom of two image is a complete performance, masking the reality of her being a grandmother. And for Harry, this wouldn't just be shocking, it would be soul-crushing. This is the man who staked everything on Meghan's truth. He stood in front of the cameras, in front of the world, saying he believed her. He defended her against the royal family, against the tabloids, against his own blood. And yet, what if the woman he defended was hiding her most explosive secret from him? Picture the headlines: Prince Harry duped, the Duchess's hidden daughter, the grandmother of Montecito. The ridicule would be relentless. Overnight, Harry would shift from a tragic hero to a global punchline, and Meghan's empire, it would be obliterated. Brands like Spotify and Netflix that already distanced themselves would sprint for the exits. Talk shows that once treated her as a feminist icon would devour her for ratings. Magazines that once printed glowing features would turn her into tabloid fodder. Overnight, she'd lose every ounce of credibility she had left. Because here's the thing, Meghan's narrative has always relied on her being the truth teller, the authentic one, the woman unafraid to bare her soul. But if the world discovers she buried the existence of a child, her own flesh and blood, then everything she's ever said about truth, honesty, and authenticity collapses. She wouldn't just be exposed as a liar, she'd be exposed as a woman who chose her brand over her own family. And in the cold, unforgiving world of public opinion, that kind of betrayal isn't forgiven. Not by the public, not by the media, and definitely not by the royals, who would pounce on it as the ultimate vindication of everything they've ever said about her. Worse still, the existence of a hidden child changes everything about Meghan and Harry's future. Because somewhere out there, another Markle exists. A 30-year-old with Meghan's DNA, potentially with a child of their own. An entire bloodline Meghan has tried to erase. That's not just scandalous, that's chilling.